Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandham at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.
All right, it's time for that big question. Who is your greatest number 95 ever in NFL history? Well, we are going to give you a bunch of different options of the most substantial players in NFL history wear that number, and we'll give you a top 10 that we think are the best. All this and more coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history, and to the sportshistorynetwork.com, where we are one of 24 great podcasts going on and talking about sports history all the time for many different eras. It is the headquarters of sports yesteryear, and we are here today to talk about the jersey numbers of the NFL, and in particular, our number 95 today, that jersey number that has been the bearer on so many backs of great players in NFL history. And we have one Hall of Famer that wore number 95 according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, two. But one of them we could not find, where Charles Haley is listed on the Pro Football Hall of Fame's website as wearing 95. We could not find in a season where Charles Haley wore number 95, so we can't really talk about him in this discussion of these great 95s. Well, if you go back and check our jersey number 94, we are all over him there. He is listed as a Hall of Famer there, and we see where he wore number 94. But the other Hall of Famer that we will talk about, that is the 15-year veteran that wore 95, and that's Richard Dent. And, Richard Dent, just a fantastic player. And, on our bio that we have for him, he was defensive end for the Chicago Bears. And according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame's website bio, he came from Tennessee State. And he was picked by the Bears in a 1983 NFL draft. In the 8th round, and what a bargain find for Chicago had with that pick, as Dent dominated with 137.5 career sacks. Richard was part of one of the NFL's greatest defenses, the 1985 Bears, who were under legendary coordinator Buddy Ryan. And Dent was an All-Pro, and he went to the Pro Bowl 4 times, each as well as being named the Super Bowl 20 most valuable player. And as the Bears capped off the monster season by winning it all. Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrined Richard Dent in the year 2011. Now, it's pretty rare for a defensive player to be named as the most valuable player. It's happened a handful of times in 50-some Super Bowls, so, less than 10% of the time. But Richard Dent was definitely one of those. He is just a phenomenal player. We said those 4 Pro Bowls, 671 solo tackles, 37 forced fumbles during his career, and 203 games that he started in. And he wasn't always with the Chicago Bears. He was there from 83 to 93, but in 1994, he played with the San Francisco 49ers. And in 95, back with the Bears, and then a year with Indianapolis, a year with Philadelphia in 1997. All in all, 15 years, 12 with Chicago, all most of them wearing number 95. The Indianapolis stint he had wore 96 in that season. So, brilliant career for Richard Dent, and that is why he is going on number 1 on our list of the top 10 greatest players to wear number 95. Next player is one of my personal favorites, and that is Greg Lloyd, the great outside linebacker of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just a great description is on Steelers.com in their history pages. And, Dick LeBeau had been in the NFL for, 47 years, almost 50 years, 14 as a player, 33 as a coach, couple stints as the defensive coordinator of Steelers. Most recently was the defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. He was also the Cincinnati Bengals head coach for a while. And he was asked one time what player that he's coached in those 33 seasons he'd pick if he could to build a defense around. And he almost immediately answered Greg Lloyd. It wasn't Troy Polamalu. It wasn't Kevin Green. It wasn't many of the other great players that he had. He immediately said Greg Lloyd. And so why did he pick Greg Lloyd from all those others? Well, LeBeau said that Lloyd had a no-nonsense approach. He went on to say that it seemed to permeate the rest of the group. Lloyd played his college football at Fort Valley State, where he also majored in chemical engineering. And the Steelers discovered him when they were watching an all-star game of the traditionally black colleges. It was called the Sheridan All-Star Game at the time. And Lloyd stood out because he just was all over the field, making just about every tackle, and Steelers ended up making him their 6th-round draft pick in 1987. And then, on his very first play in minicamp, the website goes on to say, Lloyd covered the back out of the backfield and made an interception. He was a 3-time All-Pro, and he ranks 9th on the team in all-time sacks list with 53.5 and played in 5 Pro Bowls, named to the most valuable player of the team 2 different times. Greg Lloyd, tremendous player, 3 times as an All-Pro. His sack, 54.5, like we said, 707 solo tackles, 147 games played, and was with the Steelers from 1988 to 1997, and in one final year in Carolina, where he ended his career. But he's always remembered wearing that 95 with that black jersey. Just a very vicious player and very well respected because he could really rush the passer, really would come off that edge hard. Greg Lloyd, going on our list, is our number 2 player, and I think we'll see him in Canton one of these days. Another great player that we want to talk about is Kyle Williams. Kyle is just a very large man, defensive tackle, 6'1", 303 pounds, came out of LSU and was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the 5th round of the 2006 NFL Draft. And what this man has done for the Bills. He played all the way from 2006 all the way to 2018, and he registered 48.5 sacks, 387 solo tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 183 games. Just a solid defensive tackle. You couldn't run very well against him on that side. They would always sort of try to run away from him or maybe go right at him and just put a double team on him because he was that dominant of a player. Many different instances where he showed his face and dominated an offensive line because he was just that good. And Kyle Williams is one we're going to definitely put under consideration later on here. And even though he had six didn't have any All-Pros, but he had 6 Pro Bowl appearances. That's pretty substantial. As a matter of fact, we're going to put him on the list now because that's pretty good for Kyle Williams. He just was a very integral part of that Buffalo Bills defense during his stay there. And William Fuller is another player we want to talk about. Defensive end, 6'3", 271 pounds, that came out of North Carolina, the Tar Heels product. He was drafted in 1986 by Houston, and they were the Houston Oilers at that time. And he played all the way through 1993, and then went to the Philadelphia Eagles in 94 through 96, and in 97 and 98 seasons were played as a member of the San Diego Chargers. He made it to 4 Pro Bowls from his defensive end position, 100.5 sacks, 483 solo tackles, 19 forced fumbles, 194 games, 4 Pro Bowls. I think that Mr. Will Fuller, he's another one that's going to go right up to the top, go right on our list, number 4 spot. Very good player indeed. And that's why we want to choose him to get on that list of the greatest number 95s. Another great player we want to talk about from the defensive tackle position, Tim Bowens, the great Mississippi player, University of Mississippi, was drafted by the Miami Dolphins in the first round, 20th overall in the 1994 draft. He played with the Dolphins 94 all the way through 2004, stayed with his entire career with that Dolphins organization. 22 sacks, 303 solo tackles, 9 forced fumbles, 157 games. Played in 2 Pro Bowls and was a 1994 AP Defensive Rookie of the Year for Mr. Tim Bowens. And we're going to put him under some consideration here with those 2 Pro Bowls. And of course, a Rookie of the Year is not too shabby either. Bryce Popp is another player we want to talk about, linebacker that played for the Green Bay Packers, who drafted him in the 6th round of the 1990 NFL draft, 159th overall. Came out of Northern Iowa, a great college there. But he was a Packer from 1990 to 1994, then went to the Buffalo Bills 95, 96, 97. Then he spent a couple years with the Jacksonville Jaguars, 98 and 99, and the final year, 2000, with the Minnesota Vikings. 95 his entire career, which was had him up here 8, 10, 11 total seasons. 4 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro, 1995 AP Defensive Player of the Year. Just a great player, Bryce Popp, another one that we are going to put on our list to keep an eye on as we get down here to deliberate. Next player we're going to talk about is Michael Carter, the nose tackle from SMU that was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in the 5th round, 121st overall, the 1984 NFL draft. He was a 49er through and through in 1984 to 1992, played on some great teams there. 3-time Super Bowl champion with them, as a matter of fact. 121 games played, 22 and a half sacks, 3 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. Michael Carter, nose tackle, great player. Another one we will keep under consideration to make our list. Next one is Jonathan Babano. Fantastic defensive end, defensive tackle from Iowa. He ended up having 27 sacks in his career, 291 solo tackles, 10 forced fumbles, 185 games. Atlanta Falcons from 2005 all the way to 2016. Never left that franchise, and just a tremendous player for them. Did not have any Pro Bowls or All-Pros, but great player nonetheless. Next up is one of the great big men ever to play in football, 6'3", 350-pound Sam Adams, not the beer, a great defensive tackle, defensive end that played for the Seattle Seahawks from 94 through 1999, Baltimore 2000, 2001, Oakland Raider in 2002, and the Buffalo Bills 2003, 2004, 2005, Cincinnati in 2006, 2007 with the Denver Broncos. 44 sacks in his career, 308 solo tackles, 5 forced fumbles in 206 games, 3 Pro Bowls, 1-time Super Bowl champion. Sam Adams, another great player that we are going to put under some strong consideration on our list of the best. 8 seasons he wore the number 95, by the way. The John Bunting, another big player, 6'1", 220-pound linebacker. Not big in size, but big as far as his play. 1972 Philadelphia Eagle all the way to 1982 season. Those great teams that they had there on defense. Had 14 and a half sacks, no All-Pros, but still a significant player for that defense all the same. Derek Wolfe, a defensive tackle that's played more recently. 2012, all the way through last year, 2020, played with Baltimore last year. His first 8 years in the league, though, were with the Denver Broncos. He brought in 34 sacks in his career, 225 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 122 games, a Super Bowl championship with those Denver Broncos, and did not have any Pro Bowls or All-Pro seasons. Charles Johnson, another great defensive end, was the Carolina Panthers third-round pick in the 2007 NFL draft. He came from the University of Georgia and played with Carolina his entire career, 2007 to 2017. 67.5 sacks, 228 solo tackles, 17 forced fumbles, 143 games for Charles Johnson. Sean Phillips, a defensive end. This man played with the San Diego Chargers for 9 seasons, 2004 through 2012, Denver Bronco in 2013, and then he split time in 2014 between Indianapolis and Tennessee. And he had 81.5 sacks, pretty good sack total, 406 solo tackles, 22 forced fumbles, 168 games, and 1 Pro Bowl. Sean Phillips, definitely a very tough player, and what we'll remember. Now, this is a guy that's very famous right now, Myles Garrett. Cleveland Browns selected him from Texas A&M, number 1 in the draft just a few years ago. He's 6'4", 272 pounds. So far, in his short career, he has 48.5 sacks, 118 solo tackles in just 55 games. 2017 is his first season, and he's still going strong. One of the biggest beasts in the pass rush going in the NFL right now. And he is definitely one to keep an eye on. Very bright career for him, and he's still playing and got some of the best playing days ahead of him. Let's bring up 3 more here. Jarrett Johnson, defensive end, played for the Baltimore Ravens 2003 through 2011, and then San Diego Chargers 2012 through 2014. 25.5 sacks for him, 368 solo tackles, 11 forced fumbles. He came out of the Alabama system. Baltimore Ravens drafted him in the 4th round of the 2003 draft. No Pro Bowls, no All-Pros. Jameer Miller. Well, he had 1 Pro Bowl and 1 All-Pro season with the Arizona Cardinals, 1994 to 1998, and Cleveland Browns, 99 through 2001, 36 sacks for him, 481 solo tackles for Jameer Miller. Chris Jones, another defensive tackle to talk about. He, of course, was with Kansas City for his entire career, 2016, and still playing there in 2021. And so far in his career, 42.5 sacks, 125 solo tackles, 2 Pro Bowls, and a Super Bowl championship so far to his name. So Chris Jones, another very big contender to look forward to here going forward in the NFL. So I think it's time for us to pick our top 10. So far we have 4 of them. Richard Dent, the Hall of Famer, Greg Lloyd, Kyle Williams, William Fuller. And I think I'm going to put Tim Bowens on that as our number 5. And I think number 6, Bryce Popp. Number 7, I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. Even though he's young in his career, I think he is that dominant of a player. So there's our 7th. Michael Carter, I'm going to put as our 8th player. And I am going to go with Chris Jones, who we just talked about, as our 9th player. And our 10th, I think I'm going to go with Sam Adams, the big guy, most famously with a few teams, but especially the Buffalo Bills. So there you have it. There's our top 10, and we appreciate you listening here and helping us with this. If you hear anything or don't agree, we want your feedback. Email us at pigskindispatch@gmail.com. Let us know where you think we went wrong and where you think we could have done better. Maybe there's a player we missed. It happens from time to time. Please let us know about that. You can also find us on Twitter at Pigskin Dispatch. Facebook, we have the Pigskin Dispatch page. Also, we post on LinkedIn as Darren Hayes. Feel free to post with us and enjoy the comments and things that you have there. We like your participation. We appreciate those who have. And like we said, email us at pigskindispatch@gmail.com. Catch us each and every day with a new podcast, new blog posts on pigskindispatch.com. And you can also find us on sportshistorynetwork.com. Till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day.
Hey, are you ready for some football? Some fantasy football? How about some daily fantasy football? Silly questions, right? Of course you are. You're ready to talk some smack and win some cash every Sunday, and Thursday, and Monday, and whenever there's football games. The Sports History Network invites you to play your daily fantasy football this season at thrivefantasy.com. Thrive Fantasy offers hundreds of thousands, millions in cash every day on NBA, MLB, PGA golf, cricket, esports, and of course, NFL football. Every week during the 2021 NFL season, Thrive Fantasy has pool play contests and heads-up matches with prizes of all sizes, and even free play contests for real money. Sign up with Thrive Fantasy today to get a 100% match bonus on your first deposit for up to $100 in free daily fantasy football play. Visit sportshistorynetwork.com/thrive. That's THRIVE, or enter promo code SHN when depositing at the cashier. Join Thrive Fantasy today, earn cash prizes, and support great shows like this at the Sports History Network. Now that's a win-win-win situation for you to kick off your own NFL season.
That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row 1, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings your sports history to life anywhere. The Row 1 gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row 1 shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row 1 catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row 1 Pictorum Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes.